Alright. Alright. I'm late. I've got to finish the dishes on time, otherwise no breakfast around yelling at my brothers. I can hear her stomping down the hallways. Towards too late, she catches me with my hands out of the water. Smack! Mother hits me in the face, and I topple away that she takes that as an act of defiance, which means more hits, or worst of all, no food. I regain my composure. I act timid, nodding to her threats. Please, I say to myself, just let me eat. Hit me again, but I have to have food. Another blow. Another blow pushed my head against the tile countertop. I let the tears of mock defeat stream down my face as she storms out of the kitchen, seemingly satisfied with herself. After I count her steps, making sure she's gone, I breathe a sigh of relief. The act worked. Mother can beat me all she wants, but I haven't let her take away my will to somehow survive. Sorry, I'm lighting a cigarette. I finished the dishes and my other chores. For my reward, I received breakfast, leftovers from one of my brother's cereal bowls. Today it's Lucky Charms. There was only a few bites of cereal left in a half of bowl of milk, but as quickly as I can, I swallow it before Mother changes her mind. She has done that before. Mother enjoys using food as her weapon. She knows better than to throw leftovers in the garbage can. She knows I'll dig it out later. Mother knows most of my tricks. Minutes later, I'm in the old family station wagon because I'm so late with my chores. I have to be driven to school. Usually, I run to school, arriving just as class begins, with no time to steal any food from other kids' lunchboxes. Mother drops my oldest brother off, but keeps me for a lecture about her plans for me tomorrow. She makes it a threat. I give her a frightened look, as if I am truly afraid, but I know that even though my uncle is a hard-nosed man, he surely won't treat me like Mother does. Before the station wagon comes to a complete stop, I dash out of the car. Mother yells for me to return. I have forgotten my crumpled lunch bag, which has always had the same menu for the last 3 years: 2 peanut butter sandwiches and a few carrot sticks. Before I bolt out of the car again, she says, Tell him you ran into the door." Then in a voice she rarely uses with me, she states, "Have a nice day." I look into her swollen red eyes. She still has a hangover from last night's stupor, sorry. Her once beautiful shiny black hair is now frazzled clumps. As usual, she wears no makeup. She is overweight, and she knows it. In all, this has become Mother's typical look. Because I am so late, I have to report to the administrative office. The gray-haired secretary greets me with a smile. Moments later, the school nurse comes out and leads me into her office, where we go through the normal routine. First, she examines my face and arms. "What's that above your eye?" she asks. I nod sheepishly. "Oh, I ran into the hall door." Again, she smiles and takes a clipboard from the top of her cabinet. She flips through a page or two, then bends down to show me. "Here." She points to the paper. "You said that last Monday, remember?" Give me 1 second, my phone's died. Charge it. I quickly changed my story. I was playing baseball and I got hit by the bat. It was an accident. Accident. I am always supposed to say that, but the nurse knows better. She scolds me, so I'll tell the truth. I always break down in the end and confess, even though I feel I should protect my mother. Even though I feel I should protect my mother. The nurse tells me that I'll be fine and asks me to take off my clothes. We have been doing this since last year, so I immediately obey. My long-sleeve shirt has more holes than Swiss cheese. It's the same shirt I've worn for about 2 years. Mother has me wear it every day as her way to humiliate me. My pants are just as bad, and my shoes have holes in the toes. I can wiggle my big toe out of one of them. While I stand clothed only in my underwear, the nurse records my various marks and bruises on the clipboard. She counts the slash-like marks on my face, looking for any she might have missed in the past. She is very thorough. Next, the nurse opens my mouth to look at my teeth that are chipped from having been slammed against the kitchen tile countertop. She jots a few more notes on the paper. As she continues to look me over, she stops at the old scar on my stomach. "And that," she says as she takes a deep swallow, is where she stabbed you? Cigarette hit. Yes, ma'am, I reply. Oh no, I tell myself. I've done something wrong again. The nurse must have seen the concern in my eyes. She puts the clipboard down and hugs me. God, I tell myself. She is so warm. I don't want to let go. I want to stay in her arms forever. I hold my eyes tightly shut, and for a few moments nothing else exists. She pats my head. I flinch from the swollen bruise Mother gave me this morning. The nurse then breaks the embrace and leaves the room. I rush to put my clothes back on. She doesn't know it, but I do everything as fast as possible. The nurse returns in a few minutes with Mr. Hanson, the principal, and two of my teachers, Miss Woods and Mr. Ziegler. Mr. Hanson knows me very well. I've been in his office more than any other kid in the school. He looks at the paper as the nurse reports her findings. He lifts my chin, mostly a habit from trying to deal with my mother. But it's also because I don't want to tell him anything. Once about a year ago, he called Mother to ask about my bruises. At that time, he had no idea what was really going on. He just knew I was a troubled kid who was stealing food. When I came to school the next day, he saw the results of Mother's beating. He never called her again. Oh, my nose itches. Where? You see what I was talking about with this though? Alright, so I like this book though. It's a good book. Mr. Hanson barks. Mr. Hanson barks. He's had enough of this. I almost leaped out of my skin with fear. He's going to call Mother again. My brain screams. I break down and cry. My body shakes like jello, and I mumble like a baby, begging Mr. Hanson to not phone my mother. Please, I whine. Not today. Don't you understand it's Friday? Mr. Hanson assures me he's not going to call Mother, and sends me off to class. Since it's too late for homeroom class, I sprint directly to Mrs. Woodworth's English class. Today is a spelling test on all the states and their capitals. I'm not prepared. Usually I'm a very good student, but for the past few months I gave up on everything in my life, including escaping my misery through my schoolwork. Upon entering the room, all the students plug their noses and hiss at me. The substitute teacher, a younger woman, waves her hands in front of her face. She's not used to my smell. At arm's length she hands my test to me, but before I can take my seat in the back of the class, by an open window, I'm summoned back to the principal's office. The entire room lets out a howl at me, the reject of the 5th grade. I run to the administration office, and I'm there in a flash. My throat is raw and still burns from yesterday's game Mother played against me. The secretary leads me into the teacher's lounge. After she opens the door, it takes a moment for my eyes to adjust. In front of me, sitting around a table, are my homeroom teacher, Mr. Ziegler, my math teacher, Miss Woods, my school nurse, Mr. Hanson, and a police officer. My feet become frozen. I don't know whether to run away or wait for the roof to cave in. Mr. Hanson waves me in. As the secretary closes the door behind me, I take a seat at the head of the table, explaining I didn't steal anything today. Smiles break everyone's depressed frowns. I have no idea that they are about to risk their jobs to save me. The police officer explains why Mr. Hanson called him. I can feel myself shrink into the chair. The officer asks that I tell him about Mother. I shake my head no. Too many people already know the secret, and I know she'll find out. A soft voice calms me. I think it's Miss Woods. She tells me it's all right. I take a deep breath, wring my hands, and reluctantly tell them about Mother. Then the nurse has me stand up and show the policeman the scar on my chest. Without hesitation, I tell them it was an accident, which it was. Mother never meant to stab me. I cry as I spill my guts, telling them Mother punishes me because I am bad. I wish they would leave me alone. I feel so slimy inside. I know after all these years there is nothing anyone can do. A few minutes later, I am excused to sit in the outer office. As I close the door, all the adults look at me and shake their heads in an approving way. I fidget in my chair, watching the secretary type papers. It seems forever before Mr. Hanson calls me back into the room. Miss Woods and Mr. Ziegler leave the lounge. They seem happy, but at the same time worried. Miss Woods kneels down and wraps me in her arms. I don't think I will ever forget the smell of the perfume in her hair. She lets go, turning away so I won't see her cry. Now I am really worried. Mr. Hanson gives me a lunch tray from the cafeteria. My God, is it lunchtime already? I ask myself. I gobble down the food as fast as I can. I hardly taste it. I finish the tray in record time. Soon the principal returns with a box of cookies, warning me not to eat so fast. I have no idea what's going on. One of my guesses is that my father, who is separated from my mother, has come to get me, but I know it's a fantasy. The policeman asks for my address and telephone number. That's it, I tell myself. It's back to hell. I'm going to get it from her again. The officer writes down more notes as Mr. Hanson and the school nurse look on. Soon he closes his notepad and tells Mr. Hanson that he has enough information. I look up at the principal. His face is covered with sweat. I can feel my stomach start to coil. I want to go to the bathroom and throw up. Mr. Hanson opens his door, and I can see all the teachers on their lunch break staring at me. I'm so ashamed. They know, I tell myself. They know the truth about my mother, the real truth. It is so important for them to know that I'm not a bad boy. I want so much to be liked, to be loved. I turn down the hall. Mr. Ziegler is holding Miss Woods. She is crying. I can hear her sniffle. She gives me another hug and quickly turns away. Mr. Ziegler shakes my hand. Be a good boy, he says. Yes, sir, I'll try, is all I can say. The school nurse stands in silence beside Mr. Hanson. They all tell me goodbye. Now I know I am going to jail. Good, I tell myself. At least she won't be able to beat me in jail. The police officer and I walk outside past the cafeteria. I can see some of the kids from my class playing dodgeball. A few of them stop playing. They yell, David's busted! David's busted! The policeman touches my shoulder, telling me everything is okay. As he drives me up the street away from Thomas Edison Elementary School, I see some kids who seem to be fazed by my departure. I would give anything to have been there in class when they found out I'm not so bad. In a few minutes, we arrive at the Daly City Police Station. I sort of expect Mother to be there. I don't want to get out of the car. The officer opens the door and gently takes me by the elbow into a big office. No other person is in the room. The policeman sits me in a chair in the corner, where he types several sheets of paper. I watch the officer closely as I slowly eat my cookies. I savor them as long as I can. I don't know when I will be eating again. It's past 1 p.m. when the policeman finishes his paperwork. He asks for my telephone number again. Why? I whine. I have to call her, David, he says gently. I said, no, I command. Send me back to school. Don't you get it? She mustn't find out I told. He calms me down with another cookie as he slowly dials 756-2460. I watch the black dial turn as I get up and walk towards him, straining my whole body while trying to hear the phone ringing on the other end. Mother answers. Her voice scares me. The policeman waves me away and takes a deep breath before saying, Miss Pelzer, this is Officer Smith from the Daly City Police Department. Your son David will not be coming home today. He will be in the custody of the San Mateo Juvenile Department. If you have any questions, you can call them. He hangs up the phone and smiles. Now that wasn't so hard, was it? He asked me. But the look on his face tells me he is assuring himself more than he is assuring himself more than he is me. See, I told you, I'm not good at reading aloud sometimes. Where'd my ball go? I want to hit my ball. There it is. Where'd my lighter go? I want to hit my lighter. Am I putting you to sleep yet, though? I'm sorry. Do you want me to put you to sleep, or do you want to stop? We have half of this page and then maybe 3 more sentences, and then it's the next chapter. Yeah. Okay, I can do that more time. Alright, well here, before I hit this then. A few miles... What? What, man? You should be on a house party at work tomorrow. Ew. Okay. A few miles later, we are on Highway 280, heading towards the outskirts of Daly City. I look to my right and see a sign that reads, "The most beautiful highway in the world." The officer smiles with relief as we leave the city limits. "David Pelzer," he says, "you're free." "What?" I ask, clutching my only source of food. "I don't understand. Aren't you taking me to some kind of jail?" Again he smiles and gently squeezes my shoulder. "No, David. You have nothing to worry about, honest. Your mother is never going to hurt you again." I lean back against the seat. A reflection from the sun hits my eyes. I turn away from the rays as a single tear runs down my cheek. I'm free? Next chapter. Yeah, that was it. That was it for that one. Well, hold on. I'm gonna come back to fuck. I want to see your face before you go. I see an eyeball. I know. I see an eyeball. It's just eyelashes. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I don't have fucking Live Me anymore. I'm serious. I'm gonna stay off it for like a few days, at least. That's why I want you on House Party, so I can still talk to somebody. Because if you go live, everyone's just gonna come to your live, and then I'm just gonna be here. It's just suck. I can't take you away from people though. That's selfish. We gotta finish. Well, now we gotta finish A Child Called It. Like eventually. Like, first chapter. What do you think? Like, I mean, it is. It's really, really deep, but I think that's why I like it. It brings you into the psyche of like that in a sense because it's a true story. Like it's true story. It's a very true story. Like it's his mom. It's Dave Pelzer's mom, and like he went through all that shit, and he became like a famous author and all that stupid stuff, and like it's crazy what people can overcome. But all right, I'll let you get some sleep. Okay. I know you do. Sweet dreams, son. I don't know if that's how you do it or not. Like I can't do it like you. I can't do it like you. I don't know how you do it. Like I don't know how you do it. Like I can't do that. I don't know. That like my fingers are just too long. My my fingers are just too long. Oh, my tooth is starting to hurt. I think reading books are not good for my tooth. I mean, I got it downloaded. I can send you it in like email or something. I got it downloaded now because it was like a PGF file or whatever the fuck those are called. Yeah, PDF file. I will. I know. I have no reason. I have no reason to stay up. I don't have anything to do. I remember waking up before you before. But you're medicated now, so you're probably gonna sleep good. What time are you gonna be up? 7:45. You work until 6 tomorrow? Alright, well, hit me up when you get up, alright? Alright. Good night. Sweet dreams, son.